Your body is trying to make you fat. Right now, sitting wherever you are, your biology is actively working against you, storing calories, resisting movement, craving sugar and salt and fat in combinations that no natural food on Earth actually contains. You are fighting your own ancient machinery every single day, and you are losing. But here is the thing. That machinery wasn't built to destroy you. It was built to save you. And for 300,000 years, it worked perfectly. Ancient humans were lean, strong, and metabolically healthy in ways that modern medicine can barely replicate. Not because they had discipline, not because they exercised, but because the world they lived in made obesity literally impossible. The most fundamental difference between your relationship with food and a prehistoric human's relationship with food is this. They had to move to eat. Every single calorie required physical effort to obtain. You want berries? You walk for an hour and pick them one by one. You want meat? You track an animal across miles of terrain, kill it with a handheld weapon at close range, carry it back on your shoulders. You want honey? You climb a tree and get stung repeatedly for the privilege. There were no drive-thrus. There were no vending machines. There was no food that appeared without effort. The physical act of obtaining food and the physical act of consuming it were inseparable. Every meal was earned. Modern humans have broken this connection so completely that it is almost impossible to reconstruct. You can consume 500 calories in 3 minutes without standing up. A prehistoric human would have needed to walk roughly 5 miles to burn the same amount. The gap between those two realities is where obesity lives. Food in the Paleolithic was shared, not as a social nicety, as a survival strategy. A single hunter who killed a large animal could not eat all of it before it spoiled. The group shared everything, which meant that food was distributed across many bodies rather than concentrated in one. This had a metabolic consequence that researchers are only beginning to understand. Portion size in the Paleolithic was naturally regulated by the size of the group. You ate your share and the rest went to someone else. There was no refrigerator. There was no way to store excess for private consumption. The food either fed the group or it rotted. The human brain is wired to seek sugar. This is ancient. In the Paleolithic, sweet meant ripe. Ripe meant calories, and calories meant survival. Your dopamine system releases a reward signal every time you consume sugar, because for 300,000 years, that signal was appropriate. Sugar was rare, seasonal, and always accompanied by fiber, the whole fruit, not the juice. Your body was never designed to receive sugar divorced from its original packaging. Modern food engineers know this. They have spent decades isolating the sugar signal and delivering it without the fiber, without the volume, without the satiety cues that would normally tell your body to stop. The result is a reward system firing at intensities it was never designed to handle. Your brain thinks it has found the most extraordinary food source in human history. Your waistline pays the price. Ancient humans didn't exercise. They simply never stopped moving. The distinction matters. Exercise is a deliberate intervention against a background of stillness. Movement in the Paleolithic was the background itself, the default state of being alive. Researchers studying modern hunter-gatherer groups find that they walk an average of 10 to 16 kilometers per day. Not as sport, not as health maintenance, but simply as the unavoidable consequence of being alive in a world without cars or chairs or buildings that contain everything you need within 50 feet of where you sleep. Your body was calibrated for this level of movement. Every metabolic system you have, your insulin sensitivity, your cardiovascular function, your fat storage and retrieval mechanisms, was designed to operate in a body that moves constantly. Remove the movement and the system begins to malfunction, not because something went wrong, because something went missing. Ancient humans weren't lean because they were disciplined. They were lean because their world made the alternative impossible. The food was hard to get, shared when obtained, unprocessed when eaten, and the body that ate it never stopped moving. Your body is still that ancient body. It is still running the same software, still responding to the same signals, still storing fat against a famine that is never coming. The problem isn't your willpower. The problem is that you built a world your body was never designed to live in. And every time you feel hungry 20 minutes after eating a meal that contained more calories than a prehistoric human burned in a day, that's not weakness. That's your ancient machinery doing exactly what it was built to do, in a world that no longer exists.